Welcome to Chinese History and Mythology.
Hey friends, welcome back to Chinese History and Mythology. In the last episode, before the Battle of Red Cliffs had even truly begun, the first hidden battle between Cao Cao and Eastern Wu had already started through strategy and deception. Cao Cao's army had reached the north bank of the river. He claimed to command 1 million troops, and the sheer pressure of that force shook the confidence of everyone in Jiangdong. Sun Quan hesitated between war and surrender. Most of the civil officials wanted to submit, while many of the generals refused to bow their heads. At the critical moment, Zhou Yu returned to Chai Song. First, he stabilized Sun Quan's resolve. Then he was officially appointed Grand Commander, taking command of all Eastern Wu naval and land forces in preparation for war with Cao Cao. But the person Zhou Yu truly feared was not only Cao Cao, it was Zhu Zhiliang. After Kongming arrived in Jiangdong, he first debated the scholars of Wu and defeated them one by one. Then he used provocation to push Sun Quan into fully committing to resist Cao Cao. At the same time, he saw straight through Zhou Yu's intentions, making Zhou Yu even more certain that this man would become Eastern Wu's greatest threat if he were left alive. At first, Zhou Yu tried to use the grain supply plan to send Kongming into danger, hoping Cao Cao would kill him instead. But Kongming saw through the trap immediately and with only a few words provoked Zhou Yu into abandoning the entire scheme. Zhou Yu realized then that Kongming was not only intelligent but almost impossible to control. Meanwhile, after the first naval clash, Cao Cao Zhihu realized then that Kongming was not only intelligent but almost impossible to control. He had no choice but to rely on the surrendered Jingzhou commanders Cai Mao and Zhang Yun to train his navy. Zhou Yu personally went to observe the Cao camp's naval fortress and immediately understood that Cai Mao and Zhang Yun were the true key to Cao Cao's water forces. As long as those two men remained alive, Cao Cao's navy would eventually become a real threat. So Zhou Yu set up what became known as the Gathering of Heroes. Cao Cao sent Jiang Gan to persuade Zhou Yu to surrender, but Zhou Yu turned the entire situation around. First, he overwhelmed Jiang Gan with a grand military display and lavish banquet. Then he deliberately arranged a forged secret letter, making Jiang Gan believe Cai Mao and Zhang Yun were secretly working with Eastern Wu. Jiang Gan thought he had uncovered a great secret and hurried back to the Cao camp with the stolen letter during the night. When Cao Cao read the letter, he flew into a rage and immediately executed Cai Mao and Zhang Yun. Only after their heads had fallen did he realize he had been caught in Zhou Yu's counterintelligence trap. But by then it was already too late. In this round, Zhou Yu did not move a single soldier, yet he forced Cao Cao to personally destroy the two commanders his navy needed most. Cao Cao still possessed a massive army, but Zhou Yu had ripped open its greatest weakness. And yet Zhou Yu still could not relax, because he understood something very clearly. Just because Cao Cao could be deceived did not mean Zhu Zhiliang could be deceived as well. Jiang Gan could not see through the scheme. Cao Cao failed to see through it in time. But Kongming would absolutely understand everything. So the question is, did Kongming truly see through Zhou Yu's counterplot? And if he did, why did he choose not to stop it? How would Zhou Yu continue testing Kongming after this? And when would the real flames of Red Cliffs finally begin to rise? In this episode, we continue the story. Now back to Lu Su. Following Zhou Yu's orders, he went to visit Kongming on his small boat. The moment Lu Su sat down, Kongming smiled and said, "I was just about to congratulate the commander." Lu Su was confused and asked what there was to celebrate. Kongming replied, "Gongjin sent you here to test whether I know about Jiang Gan stealing the letter. That counterintelligence scheme could fool someone like Jiang Gan. Even Cao Cao may have fallen for it at first, but sooner or later he must have realized the truth. He simply could not admit his mistake. Now that Cai Mao and Zhang Yun are dead, Eastern Wu no longer has to fear the enemy navy. Is that not good news?" Lu Su was stunned. When he returned, he foolishly repeated Kongming's words to Zhou Yu exactly as he had heard them. Zhou Yu was greatly alarmed and said, "This man absolutely cannot be allowed to live. I must find a proper reason to kill him." The next day, Zhou Yu summoned the generals for discussion and invited Kongming into the command tent. Zhou Yu asked, "In naval warfare, what weapon is most important?" Kongming answered, "Naturally bows and arrows." Zhou Yu then said, "Our army is currently short on arrows. I would like to ask you, sir, to supervise the making of 100,000 arrows for the coming battle against Cao Cao." Kongming asked how many days he would be given. Zhou Yu answered, 10 days. But Kongming replied, "The Cao army could attack at any moment. 10 days is too late. 3 days will be enough." Zhou Yu reminded him, "There are no jokes in the military." Kongming immediately signed a military pledge, declaring that if he failed to produce 100,000 arrows within 3 days, he would willingly accept military punishment. Zhou Yu was secretly delighted. He thought that as long as he delayed the craftsmen and withheld materials, Kongming would certainly fail, and then he could legally execute him. Afterward, Lu Su went to see Kongming. Kongming sighed and complained, "I told you not to reveal anything to Zhou Yu, but he still found another way to harm me. How could anyone possibly make 100,000 arrows in 3 days? This time, I truly need your help." Lu Su asked what he could do. Kongming said, "Lend me 20 fast boats. Each boat must carry 30 soldiers. Cover the boats with blue cloth screens and line both sides with straw figures. On the 3rd day, I will deliver the arrows myself, but you must not let Zhou Yu know." Although Lu Su did not understand the purpose, he secretly prepared the boats, the straw men, and the soldiers for him. On the 1st day and the 2nd day, Kongming did absolutely nothing. Then, during the 4th watch of the 3rd night, Kongming secretly invited Lu Su aboard and said, "Tonight, I will take you to collect the arrows." That night, thick fog covered the Yangtze River. The water was completely white and visibility was almost nothing. Kongming ordered the 20 boats to be tied together with long ropes and sailed directly toward the Cao naval camp. By the 5th watch, they had already reached the northern shore. Kongming ordered the boats to line up side by side with their bows facing west and sterns facing east. Then he commanded the soldiers to beat drums and shout battle cries. Lu Su asked in shock, "What if the Cao soldiers attack us?" Kongming smiled calmly. "With fog this thick, Cao will never dare send out troops recklessly. We only need to drink wine and wait for the fog to clear." Inside the Cao camp, Mao Ji and Yu Jin hurried to report the drums and shouting to Cao Cao. Seeing the river hidden beneath heavy fog, Cao Cao suspected there might be an ambush. He immediately ordered, "No one is to leave the camp. Have the archers fire into the river instead." He also summoned Zhang Liao and Su Huang with additional archers from the land forces. In an instant, arrows poured toward the river like rain. Kongming first let one side of the straw figures absorb the arrows. When that side was full, he ordered the boats turned around so the other side could collect arrows as well. By sunrise, the fog began to clear. Kongming immediately ordered the fleet to return. The straw figures on both sides of all 20 boats were already covered in arrows. As they sailed away, Kongming even ordered the soldiers to shout together, "Many thanks to the Chancellor for the arrows." By the time Cao Cao realized he had been tricked, the boats had already disappeared downstream. He could only regret it in frustration. After returning to camp, Kongming said to Lu Su, "Each boat collected 5,000 or 6,000 arrows. Together, 20 boats gathered well over 100,000. Lu Su sighed in amazement. "You truly are beyond ordinary men. How did you know there would be such heavy fog tonight?" Kongming replied, "If a commander does not understand astronomy, geography, the balance of yin and yang, military formations, and battlefield conditions, then he is merely mediocre. 3 days ago, I already calculated that tonight would be foggy. That is why I dared to promise 3 days." When the boats reached shore, the 500 soldiers Zhou Yu had sent were already waiting at the riverbank. They carried the arrows into the main camp, and the total truly exceeded 100,000. Lu Su told Zhou Yu the entire story of how the arrows had been collected. Zhou Yu could only sigh in admiration. "Kongming's calculations are godlike. I truly cannot compare with him." Soon after, Kongming entered the command tent to meet Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu praised him on the surface, but inwardly, he feared him even more. During the banquet, Zhou Yu said, "The Cao naval fortress is heavily defended. It will be difficult to attack directly. I have thought of a strategy, and would like your opinion." Kongming replied, "There is no need to speak it aloud. Let us each write one word in our palms and see whether they match." The 2 men wrote at the same time and opened their hands. In both palms was the same word, fire. Zhou Yu laughed loudly. "Since our thoughts are the same, the plan may proceed, but this strategy must remain secret." Kongming answered, "Commander, you may proceed boldly. Cao Cao has already fallen for 2 tricks in a row. Precisely because of that, he may not guard against this one." After drinking together, the 2 men departed. None of the generals realized that the fire attack plan had already been decided. After losing more than 100,000 arrows for nothing, Cao Cao grew increasingly frustrated. Sun Yu suggested. Eastern Wu has Zhou Yu and Zhu Liang. They will not be easy to defeat. Why not send someone to pretend to surrender and gather information from inside? Cao Cao immediately summoned Kai Mao's younger clansmen, Kai Zhong and Kai He, and ordered them to take 500 soldiers and fake a surrender to Eastern Wu. The two men sailed south and knelt before Zhou Yu, crying as they said, "Our elder brothers died unjustly at Cao Cao's hands. We wish to join Eastern Wu and avenge them." Zhou Yu pretended to be delighted. He rewarded them generously and assigned them under Gan Ning as forward officers. But after they left, Zhou Yu privately told Gan Ning, "These two did not bring their families. Their surrender must be false. I will simply use their false surrender to send false information back to Cao Cao. Treat them well openly, but watch them carefully in secret. Once real battle begins, they will be the first sacrifice to the war banner." Lu Su worried that Kai Zhong and Kai He were fake defectors and went to warn Zhou Yu. Zhou Yu deliberately scolded him for being suspicious. Confused, Lu Su went to ask Kongming instead. Kongming laughed and said, "Zhou Yu already saw through them long ago. He keeps them alive only to send false information back through them to Cao Cao. In war, deception is endless. This is exactly how Zhou Gongjin uses strategy." Only then did Lu Su finally understand. Not long after, Huang Gai secretly visited Zhou Yu late at night and said, "Cao Cao has too many troops while our forces are too few. A direct fight will not favor us. Why not use fire?" Zhou Yu asked who had taught him that idea. Huang Gai answered, "No one. I thought of it myself." Zhou Yu replied, "I have had the same idea. But for the fire attack to succeed, someone must pretend to defect. And unless that person suffers greatly first, Cao Cao will never believe him." Huang Gai immediately volunteered. "My family has served the Sun clan for 3 generations. Even if I must sacrifice my life, I will do so willingly." Zhou Yu rose and bowed in thanks. Together, they finalized the bitter flesh strategy. The next day, Zhou Yu gathered all the generals and deliberately claimed that Cao Cao's camp stretched for more than 300 li, and that the army must prepare provisions for a 3-month stalemate. Following the plan, Huang Gai stepped forward and said, "Forget 3 months. Even 30 months would make no difference. If we cannot defeat Cao Cao this month, we may as well surrender now." Zhou Yu immediately flew into a rage. "The army stand face to face, and yet you dare speak of surrender before everyone. Such words shake the morale of the army. If I do not execute you, military law will become meaningless." Huang Gai deliberately shouted back, "I have served the Sun family for 3 generations. Since when did it become your place to insult me like this?" Zhou Yu angrily ordered his execution. The generals all begged for mercy, and Zhou Yu finally changed the punishment to heavy military beating instead. Huang Gai was dragged outside and beaten until his skin split open and blood poured down his back. Several times he fainted from the pain. When the generals carried him back to camp, everyone who visited him wept openly. All believed Zhou Yu had become heartless. After visiting Huang Gai, Lu Su again went to complain to Kongming. "General Huang has suffered terribly. Why did you say nothing?" Kongming smiled and replied, "Zhou Yu's beating of Huang Gai is obviously a bitter flesh strategy. He intends for Huang Gai to fake a surrender to Cao Cao. If I had tried to stop him, I would only have ruined the plan." Only then did Lu Su finally understand. Kongming then added, "When you see Zhou Yu again, tell him only that I also criticized him for being heartless. Never mention that I already know the truth." Lu Su returned and repeated Kongming's words exactly. Zhou Yu laughed and said, "At last, even Kongming has been fooled." Lu Su secretly admired Kongming more and more, but he did not dare expose the truth. As Huang Gai recovered from his injuries inside the tent, many generals came to visit him. He spoke little and only sighed deeply. Then the strategist Kanze arrived late at night. Huang Gai dismissed everyone else. The moment Kanze entered, he asked, "General, was this beating perhaps part of a bitter flesh strategy?" Huang Gai asked how he had guessed it. Kanze answered, "I observed Zhou Gongjin's behavior and already understood most of it. Only then did Huang Gai reveal the truth. I have received great kindness from the Sun family and am willing to repay it with my life. But to send a false surrender letter, I need someone loyal and trustworthy to carry it to Cao Cao. Of everyone in the army, only you can be trusted with this." Kanze nodded and said, "The moment you revealed this plan to me, I knew you intended for me to deliver the letter. I am willing to take on this task." Huang Gai was overjoyed, and so, the chain of strategies behind the fire attack at Red Cliffs quietly began extending from Zhou Yu's command tent toward Cao Cao's great camp. Now let us return to Kanzei, courtesy named Derun, a man from Shangyin in Kuaiji. Though born into poverty, he was naturally brilliant, widely learned, gifted with an extraordinary memory, and especially skilled in debate. Huang Gai knew Kanzei possessed uncommon courage and insight, so he handed him the false surrender letter and asked him to risk his life delivering it to the Cao camp. Kanzei accepted without hesitation. A true man lives in this world to accomplish great deeds. Otherwise, how is he any different from grass and trees rotting in the mud? General Huang is willing to risk his life for the state. How could I cling to my own life? Huang Gai was deeply moved and struggled out of bed to bow in thanks. That very night, Kanzei disguised himself as a fisherman, boarded a small boat, and headed straight for the Cao naval camp. Around the third watch of the night, Kanzei arrived outside the Cao camp. The river patrol soldiers stopped him and escorted him immediately to Cao Cao's tent. Seeing that he was an advisor from Eastern Wu, Cao Cao asked, "You are a man of Jiangdong. Why come here in the middle of the night?" Kanzei replied, "People everywhere say Chancellor Cao values talent, but judging from your attitude today, you do not seem like a man who recognizes heroes. Huang Gongfu must have misjudged you." Cao Cao gave a cold laugh. "The two armies are at war. You suddenly appear here at night. How could I not question your purpose?" Kanzei then said, "Huang Gongfu has served Eastern Wu for 3 generations. Now Zhou Yu has beaten and humiliated him without reason. Filled with anger, he wishes to surrender to the Chancellor and avenge this insult. He and I are as close as brothers, so I have brought this secret letter for him." Cao Cao accepted the letter and examined it carefully. The meaning of the letter was this: Huang Gai had received great kindness from the Sun family and should not betray them lightly. Yet the strength of Jiangdong's 6 commanderies could never stand against the 1,000,000 troops of the Central Plains. Deep down, all the generals understood this battle could not be won. But Zhou Yu was young, reckless, arrogant, and stubborn. He abused punishment and humiliated old officers without cause. Huang Gai wished to surrender with his forces and offer grain and military supplies, both to wash away his shame and to follow the will of heaven. Cao Cao read the letter again and again. Suddenly, he slammed the table in fury. "This is a bitter flesh strategy. Huang Gai was beaten only to trick me into believing his surrender, and you dare try to fool me with such childish schemes." He immediately ordered the guards to drag Kanzei outside and execute him. But after being pulled out of the tent, Kanzei suddenly threw back his head and laughed loudly. Cao Cao ordered him brought back and asked, "I have already seen through your trick. Why are you laughing?" Kanzei sneered, "I am not laughing at you. I am laughing because Huang Gongfu chose the wrong man." Cao Cao replied, "I have studied military strategy since childhood. How could I possibly be deceived by your schemes?" Kanzei immediately countered, "Then tell me, which line of the letter is false?" Cao Cao said, "If Huang Gai truly wished to surrender, why did he not specify the exact date? That alone proves this is fake." Kanzei burst into laughter. "And you still dare claim you understand military texts? A man betraying his lord cannot set a fixed date in advance. If the date were written down and anything changed, the entire plan of surrender would be exposed. A true defector must adapt to circumstances as they arise. How could he possibly write life and death secrets plainly on paper? You do not even understand this much, yet you are about to kill a loyal man coming sincerely to join you. Is that not laughable?" After hearing this, Cao Cao began to waver. He immediately rose and apologized. "I failed to see clearly just now and offended you, sir." Kanzei answered, "Huang Gongfu and I come sincerely, like children returning to their parents. How could there be deceit?" Cao Cao was overjoyed. He ordered wine prepared to entertain Kanzei and promised that if Huang Gai truly performed great service, he would certainly be richly rewarded in the future. Not long afterward, another secret report arrived. After reading it, Cao Cao's face brightened with delight. Kanzei immediately understood that this must be a message from Kai Zhong and Kai He, secretly reporting Huang Gai's punishment. This made Cao Cao believe even more firmly that the surrender was genuine. Cao Cao then asked Kanzei to return to Jiangdong and arrange the details of Huang Gai's surrender. At first, Kanzei pretended to refuse, but eventually agreed to return at once, saying he dared not stay too long. Cao Cao rewarded him with gold and silk, but Kanzei refused everything. He immediately sailed back to Jiangdong and reported everything that had happened in the Cao camp. Huang Gai sighed deeply. "If not for your skillful tongue, all the suffering from my beating would have been wasted." Afterward, Kanze secretly visited Gan Ning's camp to investigate the movements of Kai Zhong and Kai He. Gan Ning welcomed him inside the tent. Kanze deliberately said, "Yesterday, General, you pleaded on Huang Gongfu's behalf, only to be humiliated by Zhou Yu. I truly feel angry for you." Gan Ning immediately understood and slammed the table in anger. Zhou Yu thinks too highly of himself and looks down on the rest of us. After suffering such humiliation, how can I still face the men of Jiangdong? At that moment, Kai Zhong and Kai He entered the tent. Seeing that Gan Ning and Kanze seemed resentful, they cautiously tested them. "If you two are truly dissatisfied, could it be that you also wish to surrender to Cao Cao?" Gan Ning instantly drew his sword and shouted, "Since you have overheard this matter, perhaps I should kill you both to keep it secret." The Kai brothers hurriedly replied, "We were sent by Chancellor Cao ourselves. If the two of you truly wish to surrender, we are willing to recommend you." Gan Ning and Kanze pretended to be delighted. They drank together and finalized their plans. Kai Zhong and Kai He immediately sent a secret report to Cao Cao, saying Gan Ning was also willing to become an inside agent. Kanze separately sent another letter, explaining that when Huang Gai came to surrender, the lead ship would fly a blue fang banner, so Cao Cao could recognize and receive them. After receiving 2 secret letters in succession, Cao Cao still remained suspicious. He gathered his advisors and said, "Huang Gai's punishment, Gan Ning's resentment, and Kanze's letter all seem believable, yet none can be fully trusted. Who can personally go to Jiangdong and discover the truth?" Jiang Gan volunteered again. Ashamed of his earlier failure to persuade Zhou Yu, he begged for another chance. Cao Cao was delighted and immediately ordered him to sail south in a small boat. When Zhou Yu heard Jiang Gan had returned, he laughed and said, "My great plan now depends on him." On one side, he instructed Lu Su to invite Pang Tong. On the other, he deliberately treated Jiang Gan coldly. Now Pang Tong, courtesy named Shi Wan and known by the nickname Young Phoenix, was temporarily living in Jiangdong. Lu Su had once recommended him to Zhou Yu, and Pang Tong had already realized that the key to defeating Cao Cao lay in fire attack. He explained to Lu Su, "If Cao Cao's warships remain scattered, once one ship catches fire, the others can easily escape. The ships must first be chained together with a linked strategy. Only then can the fire spread through the entire fleet." Lu Su repeated this to Zhou Yu, who strongly agreed. Yet Zhou Yu had been troubled because he lacked someone suitable to deliver this plan into the Cao camp. Now Jiang Gan had practically delivered himself to them. When Jiang Gan entered the camp, Zhou Yu immediately changed expression and angrily scolded him. "Last time I spared you out of old friendship and let you sleep in my tent, yet you stole my secret letter and caused the deaths of Kai Mao and Zhang Yun. And now you dare return again. Your intentions cannot possibly be good." Jiang Gan hurriedly tried to defend himself. Zhou Yu ignored him and ordered soldiers to escort him to a temple on West Mountain, saying he would be sent back across the river only after Cao Cao was defeated. Jiang Gan felt miserable. That night, he suddenly heard someone nearby reciting military texts. Following the sound, he came upon a small hut. Inside sat a man of extraordinary bearing, reading by lamplight. Jiang Gan asked his name. The man replied, "My surname is Pang, my given name Tong, courtesy name Xiyuan." Jiang Gan was overjoyed. "Could you truly be Master Young Phoenix?" Pang Tong replied, "I am." Seeing Pang Tong living in seclusion there, Jiang Gan tried to persuade him. "With your great talent, why remain suppressed under Zhou Yu? If you are willing to join Cao Cao, I will personally recommend you." Pang Tong smoothly answered, "I have long intended to leave Jiangdong. Since you are willing to introduce me, I shall leave with you at once. If we delay, Zhou Yu may seek to harm me." And so the two men descended the mountain that very night and sailed directly toward the Cao camp in Jiang Gan's boat. When Cao Cao heard that Master Young Phoenix had arrived, he personally came out of the tent to welcome him. Pang Tong first accompanied Cao Cao to inspect the land camps, then toured the naval fortress as well. Seeing the 24 water gates and the warships arranged in perfect order, he deliberately praised them. "Chancellor, your use of troops truly lives up to its reputation. Zhou Lang is certain to lose." Cao Cao was delighted and held a banquet in Pang Tong's honor, asking for advice regarding naval warfare. Pretending to be slightly drunk, Pang Tong said, "Although the Chancellor's navy is well trained, one problem still remains. Northern soldiers are unused to water combat. The moment the ships sway, they become seasick and fall ill. If large and small ships were linked together in groups of 30 or 50 using iron chains, then wooden planks could be laid across them. Men and horses would then be able to move about as if standing on solid ground. No matter how rough the waves became, the soldiers would remain steady. Cao Cao was overjoyed. He immediately ordered the blacksmiths to forge great iron chains through the night and lock the warships together into one massive formation. Pang Tong then added, "Many heroes in Jiangdong already resent Zhou Yu. I am willing to use my tongue to persuade them to surrender to the chancellor. Once Zhou Yu stands isolated, he will surely be captured. And if Zhou Yu falls, Liu Bei will have nowhere left to escape." Cao Cao trusted him even more deeply and promised that once the campaign succeeded, he would ask the emperor to richly reward him. Pang Tong pretended to decline and requested only one thing, a written protection order to safeguard his family by the riverbank. Cao Cao immediately wrote the order and handed it over. Pang Tong bowed in thanks and prepared to return to Jiangdong to continue the larger plan. But just as Pang Tong reached the riverbank and prepared to board his boat, a man suddenly stepped out from the shore. He wore a bamboo crown and Taoist robes. Grabbing Pang Tong by the arm, he gave a cold laugh. "You are certainly bold. Huang Gai uses a bitter flesh strategy. Ken Zhe delivers the false surrender letter, and now you provide the linked ship strategy. Are you all afraid this fire will not burn the Tal army completely? Such poisonous schemes may deceive Cao Cao, but they cannot deceive me." The moment Pang Tong heard these words, terror flooded through his body. Pang Tong's linked ship strategy had been exposed in a single sentence. He turned around and saw that the man was Zhu Shu. Only then did he relax. Pang Tong lowered his voice and said, "If you expose this plan, the people of Jiangnan will suffer disaster." Zhu Shu asked in return, "Then what about the lives of the 830,000 men in the Tal camp?" He then explained why he had come. "I remember Liu Bei's great kindness, and I also hate Cao Cao for causing my mother's death. I have already sworn never to offer Cao Cao a single plan in my life, but I am still inside the Cao camp. When the fire rises in the future, I may also be destroyed along with everyone else. Teach me one way to escape, and I will immediately keep silent and leave." Seeing that Zhu Shu had already made up his mind, Pang Tong whispered a plan into his ear. Zhu Shu was delighted after hearing it, bowed in thanks and left. Pang Tong also boarded his boat and returned to Jiangdong. That night, Zhu Shu secretly sent men to spread rumors through the camps, saying that Han Sui and Ma Teng of Ziliang had raised troops and were marching toward Zuchang. The next day, rumors spread everywhere through the Tal camp. When Cao Cao heard the report, he was shocked and summoned his advisors to discuss it. "Ever since I marched south, what I feared most was Han Sui and Ma Teng. Now such rumors are spreading in the army. Whether they are true or false, we cannot ignore them." Zhu Shu seized the chance and entered the tent. "I have received the Chancellor's shelter, yet have made no contribution in return. I am willing to lead 3,000 soldiers overnight to Sangguan and block the key passes. If anything urgent happens, I will report at once." Cao Cao was worried about his rear, so he was delighted to hear this. He ordered Zhu Shu to command the troops at Sangguan, gave him 3,000 infantry and cavalry, and appointed Zhang Ba as his vanguard. They set out that very night. In this way, Zhu Shu successfully escaped the Tal camp and avoided the fire disaster that would come later. After Zhu Shu left, Cao Cao inspected the land camps and naval camps along the river. Seeing that the warships had already been linked together with iron chains according to Pang Tong's plan, he felt completely at ease. In the winter of the 13th year of Jianan, on the 15th day of the 11th month, the weather was clear and the river was calm. Cao Cao ordered wine and music to be prepared on a large ship and held a night banquet for his generals. The moon shone over the river, and the Yangtze lay across the land like a strip of white silk. Cao Cao looked around at Namping Mountain, Chaisang, Xiakou, Fanshan, and Wulin. Filled with pride, he said to everyone, "Since I first raised troops, I have cleared away traitors for the state and sworn to pacify the world. Now only Jiangnan has not yet submitted. Today, I have 1,000,000 mighty soldiers and all of you working with one heart. Why should I worry that this great cause cannot be completed? Once Jiangnan is pacified and the realm is at peace, all of you will share in the blessings." All the generals bowed and thanked him. Cao Cao was delighted and ordered the cups to be passed around freely. By midnight, Cao Cao grew even more pleased with himself. Pointing toward the southern bank, he mocked Zhou Yu and Lu Su for not understanding the will of heaven. Then he pointed toward Xiakou and ridiculed Liu Bei and Zhu Zhiliang for overestimating themselves. After that, he mentioned the Bronze Sparrow Terrace, saying that if he could take Jiangnan, he would place Lord Cao's 2 daughters there to comfort his later years. Just as he was speaking with great excitement, he suddenly heard crows crying at night and flying south. Cao Cao asked why. Those beside him answered, "The crows see the moonlight shining as bright as day and think dawn has come, so they leave their trees and cry out." Cao Cao laughed loudly. With the wine rising in him, he stood at the bow with his spear laid across his arms, poured wine as an offering to the river, and recalled how he had defeated the Yellow Turbans, captured Lu Bu, destroyed Yuan Shu, subdued Yuan Shao, and campaigned as far as Liaodong. Feeling that he had roamed the world freely and lived up to a man's ambition, he composed a song and ordered everyone to join in. At this moment, Lu Fu, inspector of Yangzhou, stepped forward and said that the lines in Cao Cao's song, "The moon is bright, the stars are few, black magpies fly south, they circle the trees 3 times, yet find no branch to rest on," were unlucky words. Now, with a great battle ahead, such lyrics should not be sung. Drunk and furious, Cao Cao shouted, "How dare you spoil my mood!" He raised his spear and stabbed Lu Fu to death. Everyone was shocked, and the banquet immediately broke up. The next day, when Cao Cao sobered up, he was filled with regret. Lu Fu's son, Lu Shi, asked permission to bury his father. Cao Cao wept and said, "Last night, in my drunkenness, I mistakenly harmed your father. My regret is endless." He ordered Lu Fu to be buried with the honors of one of the 3 excellencies and sent soldiers to escort the coffin back to his hometown.
Soon after, Mao Zhi and Yu Jing came to report that all the large and small warships had been linked together, and the banners and weapons were fully prepared. They asked Cao Cao to give the order for a drill. Cao Cao boarded the main command ship and assigned the water and land forces. The Navy would have Mao Zhi and Yu Jin as the central command, while Zhang He, Liu Qian, Wen Ping, and Lu Tong led the front, rear, left, and right divisions. The army on land would have Su Huang, Li Dan, Yu Jin, and Xiahou Yuan lead the 4 directions. Xiahou Dun and Cao Hong would provide support, while Su Chu and Zhang Liao would move between the forces to supervise the battle. Once the order was given, the Navy beat the drums 3 times. The warships moved out together on the northwest wind. The linked ships were as steady as flat ground, and the northern soldiers practiced with swords and spears on the decks. Cao Cao was very satisfied and ordered the armies to lower their sails and return to camp. After returning to his tent, Cao Cao praised Pang Tong's plan. "If heaven were not on my side, how could I have received such a brilliant strategy from the young phoenix? Linking the ships with iron chains truly allows my army to cross the river as if walking on level ground." Cheng Yu reminded him, "Although linking the ships together makes them steady, it also makes them vulnerable to fire attack." Cao Cao laughed loudly. "It is deep winter now. There will only be west winds and north winds. Where would an east or south wind come from? Our army is in the northwest, and the southern army is on the southern bank. If they use fire, they will only burn themselves." All the generals bowed in admiration. At this moment, Yuan Shao's former generals Zhao Chu and Zhang Nan requested permission to fight. They said they were willing to take 20 small boats, charge straight into the southern naval camp, seize banners, kill enemy generals, and return. Although Cao Cao warned them that the southern army was skilled in water warfare and must not be underestimated, the 2 men insisted on winning merit. Cao Cao then gave them 20 scout boats and 500 elite soldiers, and also sent Wen Ping with 30 patrol boats to support them. At the 5th watch the next morning, Zhao Chu and Zhang Nan led 20 small boats toward the southern bank. When Zhou Yu received the report, he ordered all camps to guard their positions and not move rashly. He then sent Han Dang and Zhou Tai, each with 5 scout boats, to meet the enemy. Zhao Chu relied on his courage and arrived first. He fought Han Dang and was stabbed to death with 1 thrust of Han Dang's spear. Zhang Nan then charged forward, but Zhou Tai attacked from the side, leaped onto the enemy boat, and split Zhang Nan into the river with 1 stroke of his blade. The soldiers under Zhao Chu and Zhang Nan fled in defeat. Han Dang and Zhou Tai pursued them to the middle of the river, where they met Wen Ping coming to reinforce them. The 2 sides fought for another round. Wen Ping could not hold out and turned back in defeat. Zhou Yu feared the 2 generals might chase too far, so he waved the white flag and sounded the gong to withdraw. Zhou Yu stood on the mountaintop and looked into the distance. He saw the Ka warships packed tightly across the northern bank, with their banners in perfect order. Worry rose in his heart. Cao Cao's warships are as dense as reeds, and he is full of schemes. What plan can defeat him? Before he finished speaking, a gust of wind suddenly rose from the Ka naval camp, snapping the yellow command flag in the central camp and sending it drifting into the river. Zhou Yu smiled. This is an unlucky omen. But immediately after, the wind grew fierce, and waves crashed against the shore. A torn corner of a banner was swept by the wind and brushed across Zhou Yu's face. Zhou Yu suddenly remembered one fatal problem. He cried out in alarm, fell backward, vomited blood, and fainted.
Zhou Yu climbed to a high place to observe the Cao naval camp. He had already realized that the linked warships could be destroyed with fire, but then he suddenly thought of the most fatal problem of all. It was deep winter now, and the winds over the river were mostly from the northwest. Without an east or southeast wind, once the fireships were released, the flames would not burn the Cao camp. They would instead burn Dongwu itself. The thought struck Zhou Yu like fire attacking his heart. On the spot, he coughed blood and collapsed unconscious on the mountain. The generals hurriedly carried him back to camp. Everyone was terrified. Across the river, Cao commands 1,000,000 troops and advances like a tiger swallowing a whale. Now the commander has suddenly fallen ill. If the Cao army attacks at this moment, what are we supposed to do? Some men rushed to report the matter to Sun Quan, while others searched everywhere for physicians. When Lu Su heard that Zhou Yu had fallen sick, he became deeply anxious and went to see Kongming. After hearing the story, Kongming only smiled. "Perhaps I can cure Gongjin's illness." Lu Su was overjoyed and immediately invited him into Zhou Yu's tent. Zhou Yu lay in bed with his head covered, saying that his chest and heart felt twisted with pain and that he fainted again and again. He could not even swallow medicine. After entering the tent, Kongming deliberately said, "The heavens have sudden storms and shifting winds. Human life also has unexpected fortune and disaster." The moment Zhou Yu heard the words wind and cloud, his face changed color. Kongming then asked whether frustration and worry were knotted inside his chest. Zhou Yu nodded. Kongming said that only when the flow of energy became smooth again would the illness disappear. He then asked for paper and brush and wrote 16 characters. "To defeat Chancellor Cao, fire attack must be used. Everything is ready except the east wind." The moment Zhou Yu saw the words, he realized that Kongming had completely seen through the sickness in his heart. He had no choice but to ask how this final medicine could be found. Kongming replied that he knew a little of the arts of Qi and Dunjia and could build a 7-star altar on Nanping Mountain to borrow a southeast wind for 3 days and 3 nights. Zhou Yu was overjoyed. "Forget 3 days and nights. As long as I get 1 night of southeast wind, the great plan will succeed." He immediately ordered 500 strong soldiers to build the altar on Nanping Mountain and assigned another 120 men to guard it with banners, awaiting Kongming's commands. Kongming went with Lu Su to inspect the terrain at Nanping Mountain. He ordered red earth from the southeast to be used in building the 7-star altar. The altar was 9 feet high and divided into 3 levels. On the bottom level, banners of the 28 constellations were placed according to the 4 directions of Azure Dragon, Black Tortoise, White Tiger, and Vermilion Bird. On the second level, 64 yellow banners were arranged according to the 64 hexagrams. At the top level stood 4 attendants, one holding pheasant feathers to summon the wind, one carrying the 7-star banner to observe the weather, one holding a sword, and one carrying an incense burner. On the Jiazi day of the 20th day of the 11th month, Kongming fasted and purified himself, loosened his hair, went barefoot onto the altar, burned incense, and offered prayers. He also strictly ordered the soldiers guarding the altar not to make noise or move carelessly. Any violator would be executed. All day long, he climbed the altar 3 times and descended 3 times, yet not the slightest southeast wind appeared over the river. Meanwhile, Zhou Yu had already arranged all military matters. Huanggai's 20 fireships had long been prepared. The ships were packed with firewood, reeds, fish oil, sulfur, and gunpowder. The outside was covered with blue cloth and oilcloth. Green dragonfang banners were planted at the bows, and small boats were tied to the stern so the crews could escape after setting the ships on fire. Gan Ning and Kan Zi kept Kai Zhong and Kai He confined in the naval camp, drinking with them every day to keep them calm and prevent them from reaching shore. Across Dongwu, warships, weapons, sails, and oars had all been fully prepared. Sun Quan's fleet was also waiting nearby for news. Zhou Yu issued orders to every division of the army. Once the signal was given, no one was allowed to hesitate. Anyone who delayed the timing would be punished under military law. After nightfall, the sky remained clear and still there was no wind. Zhou Yu said to Lu Su, "Perhaps Kongming was wrong. In the middle of winter, where would a southeast wind come from?" But Lu Su insisted. Kongming would never speak empty words. Near the 3rd watch of the night, the sound of wind suddenly rose.
the corners of the banners began to stream toward the northwest. A fierce southeast wind burst forth without warning and roared through the camp. Zhou Yu was shocked. Zhu Zhiliang truly possesses powers beyond human understanding. If this man is left alive, he will become Dongwu's greatest future threat. He immediately ordered Ding Feng and Su Sheng to each take 100 men and head separately by land and water to the seven-star altar. Their orders were simple: capture Kongming and execute him on the spot. Ding Feng arrived at the altar first, only to discover that Kongming had already descended and departed. Su Sheng also rushed to the riverbank and heard from the soldiers that Kongming had just boarded a fast boat with his hair loose and was already sailing away on the wind. Su Sheng immediately raised sail and pursued him. In the distance, he saw Kongming standing at the stern of the boat, laughing. "Please tell your commander to focus on commanding the battle well. Zhu Zhiliang is returning to Xiakou for now. We shall meet again another day." Su Sheng still tried to close the distance, but then he saw Zhao Yun standing at the stern with bow drawn and arrow nocked. Zhao Yun shouted, "I am Zhao Zilong of Changshan, ordered here to receive the military advisor. Since our two sides are allies, I will spare your life and only show you a little of my skill." Before the words had even faded, one arrow flew out and cut the rope holding Su Sheng's sail. The sail collapsed into the river, and the entire ship swung sideways across the water, unable to continue the chase. Seeing this, Ding Feng could only persuade Su Sheng to return and report back. When Zhou Yu learned that Kongming had prepared everything in advance, he felt both shocked and furious. But for the moment, he had no choice except to suppress his desire to kill him and focus first on defeating Cao Cao. Zhou Yu immediately deployed his forces. He ordered Gan Ning to take Saizhong and the surrendered soldiers, raise Totar army banners, and move secretly along the southern bank toward Wulin to burn Cao Cao's grain stores. He ordered Titurses to cut off reinforcements between Cao Cao and Hefei. Lu Meng was assigned to support Gan Ning, Ling Tong to seize the Yiling border crossing, Dong Shi to attack the Cao Tong camp through Hanchuan, and Pan Zhang to support Dong Shi. Huang Gai was ordered to lead the fire ships in a false surrender, while Han Dang, Zhou Tai, Zhang Qin, and Chen Wu each led warships to support him afterward. Zhou Yu and Cheng Pu would command from the main ship, with Su Sheng and Ding Feng as left and right guards. Lu Su and Kan Zhe remained behind to guard the main camp. Sun Quan also sent military authority tablets, appointing Lu Sun as vanguard to move toward Qishui and Huangzhou for support. The fire cannons on West Mountain and the signal banners on Nanping Mountain were all prepared. Everything waited only for the coming night. At the same time, Kongming had already returned to Xiakou. Liu Bei and Lu Qi welcomed him ashore. Kongming wasted no time on idle conversation and immediately asked whether the troops and ships were ready. Liu Bei answered that everything had long been prepared. Kongming at once divided the forces. Zhao Yun was ordered to take 3,000 men along the Wulin side road and hide among dense trees and reeds. When Cao Cao fled in defeat, he was to strike from ambush. Zhang Fei was ordered to take 3,000 men to guard Hulu Valley at Yiling. Once the defeated troops stopped to cook and smoke rose into the air, he was to set fires along the mountains and attack. Mi Zhu, Mi Fang, and Lu Feng were ordered to sail along the river to destroy fleeing soldiers and collect weapons and supplies. Lu Qi was told to return to Wuchang and hold the river crossings, capturing fleeing soldiers and not leaving the city lightly. Kongming told Liu Bei to remain stationed at Fengkou and simply climb to a high place that night to watch Zhou Yu's fire attack.
Seeing that Kongming still had not assigned him any mission, Guan Yu could not help asking, "I, Guan, have followed my brother in battle for many years and have never fallen behind. Today, with such a great enemy before us, why does the military advisor not use me?" Kongming smiled. "I originally wanted to place you at the most important position of all, Huarong Road, but I feared that you might remember old kindness from Cao Cao and let him go." Guan Yu replied that he had already repaid Cao Cao's kindness long ago by slaying Yan Liang and Wen Chou. "If I meet him again today, I absolutely will not spare him." He immediately signed a military pledge. Kongming then ordered him to take Guanping, Zhou Kang, and 500 axemen to ambush Huarong Road. Smoke fires were to be lit on the heights to make Cao Cao think it was only a bluff. Liu Bei worried that Guan Yu's loyalty and compassion might soften his heart, but Kongming said, "Last night I observed the stars. Cao Cao's fate is not yet finished. This favor is exactly what Yun Chang should repay." Meanwhile, Cao Cao ding died in the great camp for news from Huang Gai. The southeast wind blew fiercely.
Cheng Yu warned him that they must guard against danger, but Cao Cao laughed. After the winter solstice, yang energy rises again. What is strange about a southeast wind? Soon afterward, a small boat from Jiangdong delivered Huang Gai's secret letter. It said that he would come surrender under the excuse of transporting grain, and that the ships flying green dragon fang banners at the second watch would be the grain ships. Cao Cao was overjoyed and brought all his generals onto the great command ship to wait. On the Jiangdong side, Zhou Yu first had Kai He tied up and executed before the banners. Even as he died, Kai He shouted that Kan Ze and Gan Ning were involved as well. Zhou Yu only sneered. That was part of my arrangement from the beginning. He then ordered Huang Gai to set out with the fire ships. Huang Gai wore a protective breastplate, held a sharp blade in his hand, and sat aboard the third fire ship, charging straight toward Red Cliffs with the southeast wind behind him. From a distance, Cao Cao watched the fleet from Jiangnan riding the wind toward him. The ships indeed flew green dragon fang banners, so he became convinced that Huang Gai's surrender was genuine. Cheng Yu spotted the flaw and hurriedly warned him. If these are grain ships, they should ride low and heavy in the water. But these ships float lightly and come driven by a southeast wind. There must be trickery. Only then did Cao Cao become alert and order Wen Ping to intercept them. Wen Ping led patrol boats forward and shouted for the approaching ships to stop in mid-river. Before he could finish speaking, an arrow shot out from the Jiangdong ships and struck Wen Ping in the left arm. Chaos instantly broke out aboard his boat and he was forced to retreat. At this point, the fire ships were only 2 li from the Cao camp. Huang Gai raised his blade and gave the order. The lead ships were immediately set ablaze. With the southeast wind feeding the flames, the 20 fire ships shot forward like flaming arrows and crashed directly into the Cao naval camp. Cao Cao's warships had all been chained together with iron links. There was no way to escape. In the blink of an eye, flames soared into the sky. Cannons thundered across the river, and fire ships attacked from every direction until the waters of the 3 rivers glowed red. The Cao naval camp and the camps on shore burst into flames together. The ships were locked in place, soldiers trampled one another in panic, and both land and water forces collapsed into complete chaos. The armies Zhou Yu had hidden at Wulan, Hanyang, Yiling, and other places also launched their attacks one after another. Fires rose everywhere, and the Cao army no longer knew what to do. Defeat had already become inevitable. When Cao Cao turned and saw multiple fires erupting across the shore camps as well, he realized the situation was hopeless. Just as he prepared to abandon ship and flee to land, Zhang Liao arrived in a small boat and pulled him down from the burning flagship, escorting him toward the shore. From a distance, Huang Gai spotted a man in a crimson robe climbing down from the ship and guessed that it was Cao Cao. He immediately urged his ship forward in pursuit and shouted, "Traitor Cao, do not run! Huang Gai is here!" Hearing the voice behind him, Cao Cao groaned in despair. Seeing Huang Gai closing in, Zhang Liao instantly drew his bow and loosed an arrow. Amid the roaring wind and flames, Huang Gai could not hear the bowstring. The arrow struck him in the shoulder socket, and he tumbled into the river.
Zhang Liao shot Huang Gai from his horse and protected Cao Cao as they rushed ashore, but by then the Cao naval camp had already fallen into complete chaos. Han Dang charged through the smoke and flames into the camp when he suddenly heard someone shouting from a ship behind him, "Yigong, save me!" Han Dang listened carefully and realized it was Huang Gai. He immediately ordered his men to pull him aboard. Although Huang Gai had been struck by an arrow and fallen into the river, his excellent swimming skills had saved his life. Han Dang cut out the arrowhead, bandaged the wound, took off his own battle robe to cover him, and sent him back to the main camp for treatment. By this time, the river was blazing with fire. Han Dang and Zhang Qin attacked from the west. Zhou Tai and Chen Wu struck from the east, while Zhou Yu, Cheng Pu, Su Sheng, and Ding Feng pressed forward from the center with the main army. The flames strengthened the attack, and the soldiers used the fire to increase their power. Countless Cao soldiers were burned alive, drowned, or shot down. Gan Ning had already lured Kai Zhong into the Cao main camp, and then cut him down with a single strike, before setting fires throughout the camp. The moment Lu Meng saw flames rise from the center camp, he immediately ordered fires lit in more than 10 places to support the attack. Pan Zhang and Dong Shi also spread out, shouting as they set fires everywhere. Cao Cao and Zhang Liao fled wildly through the sea of flames with barely 100 cavalry. Along the way, they were first chased by Lu Meng and then intercepted by Ling Tong. Only because Su Huang arrived in time was he barely able to protect Cao Cao and escort him northward. Along the road, Cao Cao encountered Ma Yan and Zhang Kai, former officers of Yuan Shao, and ordered them to lead troops clearing the path ahead.
But before long, they crashed straight into Gan Ning. Gan Ning cut down Ma Yan with one blow and then killed Zhang Kai as well. Cao Cao had no choice except to continue fleeing toward Yiling. In the Hefei direction, Sun Quan had already ordered Lu Xun to signal with fire. Once Tigerstiz saw the signal, he too led troops into battle. All the way, Cao Cao cared only about escape. Not until the 5th watch of the night, when the firelight finally seemed farther away, did he breathe a little easier. When Cao Cao reached the west side of Wulin, he saw thick forests and dangerous terrain. Suddenly, sitting atop his horse, he burst out laughing. The generals asked why he laughed. Cao Cao replied, "I only laugh at Zhou Yu for lacking strategy and Zhuge Liang for lacking wisdom. If I had commanded troops here, I would have hidden an ambush in this very place. Would I still have escaped?" The moment the words left his mouth, drums thundered from both sides and flames burst upward. Zhao Yun led soldiers charging out and shouted loudly, "I, Zhao Zilong, have been waiting here a long time under the military advisor's orders." Cao Cao was horrified and immediately ordered Su Huang and Zhang He to fight him while he himself fled through the smoke and fire. Zhao Yun focused on seizing banners and cutting down soldiers instead of pursuing Cao Cao to the end, and so Cao Cao narrowly escaped again. At dawn, the southeast winds still had not stopped, and heavy rain began falling from the sky. The Cao soldiers were soaked through their armor, freezing and starving. Cao Cao had just ordered his men to search for food and start fires when Li Dian and Su Chu arrived, protecting the strategists. The group continued moving forward. When they reached Hulu Pass, both soldiers and horses were utterly exhausted, so they had no choice except to stop for a short while, set up cooking fires, and slaughter horses for food. Sitting beneath the trees, Cao Cao once again threw back his head and laughed. Everyone begged him to stop laughing, but Cao Cao said, "If another ambush had been placed here, even if we survived, we would still suffer terrible losses." In the end, Zhou Yu and Zhuge Liang still failed to think of it. Before he even finished speaking, killing cries erupted from front and rear. Zhang Fei appeared, mounted with spear in hand, roaring, "Traitor Cao, where are you running?" The moment the Cao soldiers saw Zhang Fei, their souls nearly left their bodies. Su Chu rode forward on a horse without a saddle to fight him, while Zhang Liao and Su Huang joined together in attack. During the chaos, Cao Cao escaped first. Zhang Fei continued slaughtering the retreating troops, and the Cao army suffered even more losses. When they reached a fork in the road, the soldiers reported that the main road was smooth but longer, while the smaller Huarong road was shorter but muddy and difficult. Cao Cao sent scouts to investigate. They returned saying there were smoke fires beside the mountain paths near the small road, while the main road showed no movement at all. Cao Cao immediately concluded that Zhuge Liang was deliberately setting up a false trap, and therefore insisted on taking the Huarong side road instead. The generals worried there might be an ambush, but Cao Cao said, "What seems empty is full, and what seems full is empty. Zhuge Liang wants to scare me onto the main road, but I will not fall for it." So the defeated Cao troops dragged their exhausted men and horses into Huarong Road. The road was thick with mud, and horses sank deep into the ditches. Furious, Cao Cao ordered strong soldiers to cut trees and throw them into the road to fill the holes. The weak and wounded soldiers lagged behind. Anyone who slowed the march would be executed. Many exhausted troops collapsed along the road and were trampled beneath horses. Cries of pain echoed everywhere. After they finally passed the dangerous stretch, Cao Cao looked back and saw that only a little more than 300 riders remained beside him, all of them filthy and disheveled. They had gone less than a few more miles when Cao Cao raised his whip and laughed for the 3rd time. People everywhere praised Zhou Yu and Zhuge Liang as master strategists, but in my eyes they are nothing special. If there were another ambush here, then all of us would truly be captured alive. Before the words ended, a cannon blast shook the air. 500 axemen appeared from both sides in formation. At their head stood Guan Yunchang himself, holding the green dragon blade and riding the red hare horse, blocking the road ahead. The moment Cao Cao's soldiers saw Guan Yu, their faces turned pale with terror. Cao Cao sighed. "At this point, we can only fight to the death." But the generals answered, "The men may still fight, but the horses have no strength left." Cheng Yu reminded him, "Yunchang values loyalty and old friendship. Back then, Chancellor, you treated him well. If you personally plead with him, perhaps there is still hope." Cao Cao therefore rode forward and bowed slightly. "General, have you been well since we last met?" Guan Yu returned the courtesy. "I, Guan, have been waiting here a long time under the military advisor's orders," Cao Cao said. Now I, Cao Cao, have been defeated and driven into desperation, with nowhere left to go. I only ask that the general remember old friendship and spare me this once. Guan Yu replied, Back then I did indeed receive great kindness from the chancellor, but I already repaid it by slaying Yan Liang, executing Wen Chou, and relieving the siege at White Horse. Today concerns the rise and fall of the realm. I cannot abandon public duty for private feelings. Cao Cao then brought up the matter of Guan Yu crossing the 5 passes and slaying 6 generals, saying that a true man should value trust and loyalty above all. Guan Yu remembered the old kindness from years ago. Then he looked at the miserable and terrified condition of the Cao soldiers, many nearly in tears. In the end, his heart softened. He pulled back his horse and ordered his troops to move aside. The moment Cao Cao saw the opening, he immediately led his generals rushing through. By the time Guan Yu tried to stop them again, Cao Cao had already passed. When Zhang Liao arrived afterward, Guan Yu again remembered old friendship and could only let him go as well. After escaping Huarong Road, only 27 riders remained beside Cao Cao. As night approached, torches suddenly blocked the road ahead. Cao Cao thought his life was finished, but on closer look it proved to be Cao Ren's army. Cao Ren rode forward and explained that he had not dared move far away and had remained nearby all this time waiting to provide support. Cao Cao entered Nanjun to rest for a while. When the surviving troops were counted, the losses were horrifying, and sorrow filled his heart. Cao Ren prepared wine to calm him, and all the strategists sat together in the tent. Suddenly, Cao Cao threw back his head and began to weep bitterly. Everyone tried to comfort him, saying that since he had already escaped danger, he should focus on rebuilding the army and taking revenge. Why cry instead? Cao Cao struck his chest and cried, I weep for Guo Fengzhao. If Feng Zhao were still alive, he would never have allowed me to fall into such disastrous defeat. Hearing this, all the strategists sat in silence and shame. The next day, Cao Cao arranged the aftermath. He himself would first return to Dudu to reorganize the armies. Nanjun was entrusted to Cao Ren, along with a sealed secret plan to be opened only in crisis. Xiangyang was assigned to Xiahou Dun, while Hefei, the most critical position, was placed under Zhang Liao as chief commander, with You Jin and Li Dian assisting him. After making all arrangements, Cao Cao led the surrendered Jingzhou officials back toward Dudu. Cao Ren, meanwhile, assigned Cao Hong to guard Yiling and Nanjun against a future attack from Zhou Yu. Meanwhile, after letting Cao Cao escape, Guan Yu returned alone to camp. By now, every division of the allied armies had captured weapons, horses, money, and grain. Only Guan Yu returned empty-handed. The moment Kongming saw him arrive, he deliberately stepped forward, smiling. Congratulations, General. You have achieved a world-shaking victory and removed the greatest danger beneath heaven. Guan Yu remained silent for a long time before finally saying, I, Guan, have returned to ask for punishment. Kongming asked, Did Cao Cao not pass through Huarong Road? Guan Yu answered, He came exactly through Huarong Road, but I was incompetent and let him escape. Kongming asked again, Then did you at least capture a single soldier? Guan Yu replied, Not one. Kongming said, This is because the general remembered old kindness and deliberately released him. But the military pledge still exists, and military law cannot be ignored. With that, he shouted an order for the guards to drag Guan Yu outside and execute him. In this battle, Cao Cao was defeated badly, yet in the end he did not die at Red Cliffs, nor did he die on Huarong Road. Zhou Yu used fire to destroy his million-man army. Zhuge Liang calculated every step of his retreat. Zhao Yun, Zhang Fei, and Guan Yu each blocked a different escape route and nearly pushed Cao Cao into total ruin. But in the end, what truly stood between Cao Cao and death was not blades, not flames, but the old debt of loyalty still buried in Guan Yu's heart. Back in the past, Cao Cao had treated Guan Yu with great respect. He gave him robes and horses, held small banquets every 3 days and grand feasts every 5. Later, when Guan Yu crossed 5 passes and slew 6 generals, Cao Cao also chose not to hunt him down to the end. Now on Huarong Road, the mighty chancellor who once stood above 10,000 men had become nothing more than a defeated commander with disheveled hair and only 27 riders left beside him. Facing an old acquaintance in such a miserable state, Guan Yu ultimately could not bring himself to strike that final blow. But military law is heavier than a mountain. Before leaving, Guan Yu had personally signed a military pledge. Now Cao Cao had escaped alive, while Guan Yu returned empty-handed. In front of everyone, Kongming brought out the pledge and ordered the guards to drag Guan Yu away for execution. So was the famous Guan Yu of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms really about to die here? Zhuge Liang had clearly already foreseen that Cao Cao was not destined to die yet. He also knew Guan Yu would almost certainly let him go out of old loyalty. So why did he still send Guan Yu to guard Huarong Road? Was the release of Cao Cao at Huarong Road truly Guan Yu's failure, or was it another move Zhuge Liang had planned from the very beginning? We'll continue the story in the next episode. If you enjoyed today's episode, feel free to give the show a like, subscribe, and share it with someone you think would enjoy it too. Thank you for spending this time with me. I will see you in the next episode.
Pangu raised the sky in light. Nua healed the broken heart. Fuxi traced the world's design. Every age leaves stories bright. Yaya dynasty shaped bronze. Shang dynasty cast oracle bones. Thou dynasty built riots. Qin dynasty forged the great walls. Han dynasty opened Silk Road winds. Three Kingdoms dynasty turned war to tales. Jing dynasty led ink and mountains bloom. Sui dynasty carved the Grand Canal. Tang dynasty crowned the world with art. Song dynasty raised learning's flame. Yun dynasty swept the northern plains. Ming dynasty strengthened walls again. Qing dynasty closed an ancient end. Every age leaves stories bright. History and myth ignite in endless light. China's history moves in mystery through the night. Footsteps of this land enchant the world in light. Han dynasty opened Silk Road winds. Three Kingdoms dynasty turned war to tales. Qin dynasty led ink and mountains bloom. Sui dynasty carved the Grand Canal. Tang dynasty crowned the world with art. Song dynasty raised learning's flame. Yun dynasty swept the northern plains. Ming dynasty strengthened walls again. Qing dynasty closed an ancient age.